Thank you. That's very kind of you. So where do you think Vivian is? I don't know. The old bat's got to be around here somewhere.
If by referring to old bat it's yours truly, you can look no further.
So definitely the old bat is here, and we are here for her, even if we got 3 days of her. So hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, February 3rd, 2026. So Rafe and Eli, they are in Alamania to find out if Vivian is really connected to Theo and the rest of the Demir's disappearance. Now they're wondering where Vivian is, because at this point, like, there's so many rooms. The place is like the palace in Versailles. So they're wondering where she could have been, where the old bat could have been, anywhere. So she's like, if you're looking for me, look no further. So she's like, what are you guys doing here? So they want to find out if it's really true that Stefan has passed away. They are going to be looking through the tombstone, giving her permission, and she says she has nothing to hide regarding that. She just really want to move on with her life. It's been a process, losing Stefan, losing Jake, and now hearing Stefan who has really, it's been confirmed that he's passed away, not coming back. So it's rough. She does really have nothing. So she's playing the whole grieving mom, grieving act really well. I almost believe it, but I feel as if Viv always has something up her sleeve. Stefan is not dead at all. I feel like he's just gonna come back in some way. She has him stowed away somehow. So anyways, Rafe said that he's sorry for her loss, but at the same time, he also wants to know her connection to the Demir's disappearance, because when they traced the camera that they found in the crypt, Peter Blake wasn't working alone. It traced back to her place in Alamania. So they want to know what she has to do with it. And she said that she has no role in it whatsoever. And, they asked if they can look around, ask the servants, ask whoever if, they know anything. So she said, okay, go ahead. So they're there looking through the many rooms, and there's like, it's going to take forever until they find, some camera, some tablet that was linking back to the camera that was found in the crypt in Rafe's old office. So he was like, now that I set it up in my office, now that we can really trace it back to the actual place that it was confirmed to be, maybe we can really nail Vivian once and for all. So anyways, let's see how this thing unfolds. Now, something tells me that EJ and Kat may, develop into something more. I am here for it. It's kind of cute to me. Kat was over there to deliver the urn because she just wanted to make EJ's day a little bit better, not for him to really go through it all. And she said, okay, let me just take the urn and, bring it to him. So they're preparing for Stefano's farewell. And it's definitely, a rough day for EJ. It's going to be very complicated feelings. He does tell Kat about how it will proceed, that they won't have an officiant. They will just have basically the siblings coming together and anybody who wants to pay their respects. And he uses the term respects loosely because we all know how people feel about Stefano at Salem. So they're opening the doors for anybody to come and, pass through, pay respects. At some point, they touched the urn, and they both of their hands were touching, and they're looking at each other. And then, Susan comes in. Susan is wondering, like, what is she doing here? So EJ just puts her in her place and said, look, like, I'm sick and tired of you treating Kat like a pariah, like the rest of the people in Salem. You need to understand that she means me no harm. You need to stop doing that. Treat her with some respect as long as she's in my home. So she apologized, and, they move on. At some point, Kat leaves, and EJ and Susan, have a little chit-chat about Stefano and, just proceeding forward with everything. Leo was in the square earlier. He was trying to reach Javi. Javi is just basically blocking him at this point, and he's not getting through to him. He's in the square, and he's about to do some work on his journalism, and he runs into Dimitri. Now they exchange some kind of conversation, about how is it working out for him regarding Javi, and Javi not really talking to him, and Dimitri saying like, look, you need to just quit this act and, realize what you did have with me is a lot more special, a lot more worthwhile. And Leo's saying, look, I've changed. I'm a better person now because of it. Like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to like relive the past and all of that. And Dimitri doesn't believe it for one bit. And he's saying, like, if you really are done with me and you have me out of your system, prove it. Invite me to your room. So at some point, Leo did invite him to his room, and he shows him everywhere in the room, and he says, okay, you can go now. So Dimitri said, not so fast, it's really hot in here. And he starts taking off his clothes, and Leo's like, put some clothes on, I don't want to do this. So he's like, come on, it shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, you said you're over me, right? So he proceeds to go in bed, invites Leo, and Leo said, you know what, if you're not going to leave, I will leave. So Dimitri's like, oh, he'll be back. I mean, Leo's definitely putting up a big front towards Dimitri. If he's really trying to convince us that he's over Dimitri, or he's trying to move on, he really wants to be committed to Javi. But yeah, definitely putting on a good front about it. Dimitri, cool it down now, because obviously you're trying too hard and it's really turning Leo off even more. Earlier, Leo definitely went to the pub and he saw Gwen. Gwen was there, trying to fork out the last dollars that she has for breakfast. Roman was so sorry for her that he said, you know what, it's on the house. Given what you're going through, you're going to need all the money. And I'm like, I don't know if I would take it as a great gesture or maybe he's throwing shade, but either way, Gwen was happy to just collect her few dollars and dimes. And even Leo was even saying, you missed a dime. And I'm just laughing at it all, because I'm saying, boy, Gwen has really been on some bad times since Dimitri has entered into Salem. I don't think she was really expecting him to go through the divorce and really, take back his fortune, which is rightfully his. Now, Leo is talking to her about getting rid of Dimitri once and for all, and Gwen is not for it. Gwen is saying, like, if you really have them kind of urges, you need to go see somebody, talk to somebody on the couch. And he said, like, look, I don't really have any urges no more. And furthermore, I'm talking to Marlena, I've been doing well. I mean, unlike you to have your self-help books, which I can tell what they're about, everybody's wrong except you and blah, blah, blah. So he's calling her out. And he said, like, you really need to, like, do some self-reflection and work on yourself. So, that kind of hit Gwen at a different blow, right? Now, Kat comes to the pub. She sees Gwen. They chit-chat a bit. And, they're talking about Gwen, what's going on with her regarding Dimitri and her being on her lowest, financial-wise. And she tells Kat that she has a plan to really get back at Dimitri regarding the divorce. Kat wants to hear about the plan, but she's not telling her. She's keeping that to her chest. Now, she also talks about the memorial going on for Stefano and how, the house has been just, full of vindictive, deceitful demerits, and the fact that they're really coming together to just pay respect to Stefano is laughable. And Kat was trying to defend EJ and said that he really looks like he's grieving. And she said, come on now, it's probably self-pity. He's probably, wondering like why everybody load him like how they load his father, blah, blah, blah. So Kat thought that, they were getting along, they're good together, and especially when they were at the gala and they seemed like they were emotionally intense. And she said, it's because, we have, different soccer teams, our football teams, and, we were just disagreeing to agree. And, she also said she saw them at the mansion and they look kind of close. She said, no, nothing is going on between that. I'm just living there because, again, I am a demerit by marriage and I needed a place to stay. And she talks about it's not her first time living there. She gives Kat a little background history about when she first came to Salem, that she lived there. She was Thomas and Charlotte's nanny. She tried to just destroy her half-sister Abigail's life because, again, she wanted to just let other people hurt because, again, she want them to feel how she felt being neglected, being ignored because of, her whole thing with Jack being her father and finding that out later on. And I'm saying, even now, I'm just saying, Gwen really needs to stop being a victim, stop being a pitiful little woman, right? At this point, she needs to just get it together, seek some help like what Leo did, and really find out her issues, because what she did to Abigail, and I'm no big fan of Abigail, but she shouldn't have done that to Abigail and, destroy her marriage almost in the process. Slept with Chad, I'm surprised she didn't even tell Kat that she was pregnant by Chad and that, she had a miscarriage, and blamed Abby for that reason. I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, Abigail did not deserve half of that what Gwen did to her. She should have taken out her anger with Jab, and even then Jab didn't even know that she existed, so blame her mother for that too. Anyways, moving forward, back to Susan and EJ. Susan can tell that EJ is kind of having mixed feelings about his father being gone, and she did apologize to him about what she said to Kat. She also said something earlier when Kat was around that, Stefano, he deserved what he got. The world is better off without him. And she does apologize for that later on. And EJ understands how she feels, and he's not hurt in the least about it because, again, Stefano did do a lot of harm. And I have a question like too, because how did Susan, being her quirky self, being how she is, how did she get with a man like Stefano and have a baby? Because it still boggles me, and maybe I need to do some research on that, because how did that whole arrangement happen? Because it's just really funny to me that she would be with Stefano of all people, or Stefano be with her of all people. Just crazy. But anyways, she asked him what he's going to do with the urn, given that, he has a more dignified resting place other than being just discovered as bones in the crypt. But he said that the crypt, it's a hard thing for him to do, to go back into the crypt and really, go around in it, because it's holds a bad memory, because he was kidnapped and sent there for months, and then it's just leaves a bad taste in his mouth, and he doesn't know if he can go back in there. Now Susan said, don't worry, I'll handle all the arrangements, I'll make sure that it happens, that he will have his final resting place there. She looks at the urn and she's saying, like, I can't believe that Stefano, larger than life, is just reduced to this urn right now. And she just thought that he was definitely around, he was still alive, he was still present, and he just said, look, it is what it is. And sometimes you can be off about your premonitions. It is what it is. But yeah, that was really it, guys. Comment below your thoughts on today's episode. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.